For those of us sticking around for our last segment, we are going to be discussing the Ravens Super Bowl window being closed. Again, a little bit of the thought process that goes into this one. The Ravens obviously just fell in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. They had best defense in the league, a historic defense. They had a fantastic run game. Lamar Jackson is poised for another MVP win. What is there a way for them to get over the humpy? Do we think they can make this happen? Is their window closed? Is this really it for the Ravens? What are your thoughts on it? Will it ever happen for them?
They hate to say it, but kind of feels like and this is really no fault to the Ravens. I think there's some stuff that they can do to improve their chances, which we can get into later. But dude, the big bad man is still there in their conference. The guy who they just lost to at home, Patrick. He's still there. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. The Chiefs win the 6th straight, I believe, AFC title games. 4th time going to Super Bowl in the past, whatever years, 6, 7 years that Mahomes has been starting. Dude, it's a dynasty run. The big bad man is still there, and of course, we don't have like a magic genie ball that can forecast the future. Will Patrick Mahomes still be the same player once Andy Reid steps down? We don't know that. Will Mahomes be the best or the same player once Kelsey's done playing? We're just talking about the Niners. I'm still thinking about that. Would he be the same player if Kelsey stops us playing? We don't know that, right? But I do know that Mahomes is going to bring it every single year, every single time they play. And obviously, the Ravens cannot win the entire thing unless they get past the Chiefs. So with that, I'll kind of turn it over to you, but seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Yeah. And so to clarify your point, you said yes. Yes, their window is closed. No, you don't think they're ever going to win it. I tend to kind of agree with you. Not only do you have to deal with the big bad man in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, who, we are watching another dynasty run, which, again, I feel bad for fans in the AFC conference because you just went through it with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now you have to go through it with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm very unfortunate. But yeah, you're sandwiched between that, and you're also sandwiched between Josh Allen and the Bills, another team that's right there on that cusp. And we'll do a video about them later. But that you're competing with them and the Chiefs. You're dealing with two different powerhouses that you have to go through. And the problem that I see, and we'll move past the Chiefs' point here, is the biggest problem I see with the Ravens is it's kind of Lamar Jackson in a weird way, because so they have a fantastic front game, right? And they have a great defense, and I'm gonna list the excuses now, right? So we get them out of the way. He doesn't have receiving weapons. Absolutely. Zay Flowers is a rookie. He looks promising. Odell Beckham, I don't know if he's just a shell of himself or he's just still recovering from that ACL or what the situation is. It just didn't work out this year. You have Rashad Bateman, who was drafted in the first round of Minnesota. He has not panned out. You have Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers. Those are and Isaiah Likely, who I really like. He's a fantastic tight end too. But that's it. That's all you got for Lamar. It's not top tier weapons. So absolutely, he doesn't have weapons. They could do a better job of improving them, right? But this is why I say it's Lamar, because he has made it evident that the media narrative around him gets to him, right? We've seen him make jokes about being a running back. We've all seen that video where they give him the game ball and goes, oh, not bad for a running back, right? We've all seen him kind of address that. And I think we're now seeing it play out in his play style. The Ravens moved on from Greg Roman because they wanted to switch to a more pass-focused offense. They wanted to get away from run and putting Lamar Jackson in those kind of situations. Okay, that's fair. We expected Lamar to develop, and you know what? He has. He's developed really well. I think he had the best completion percentage of his career. I think he also had the best passing yards of his career.
Yep.
Fantastic. But here's the thing about Lamar, and he's a good passer. We're not arguing saying he's a running back. We're not getting to those bullshit comments. He's a good passer. But what makes Lamar elite is his running ability. He's an unbelievable runner. He has this God-given ability to do things that no one else can do. And I don't think that's a bad thing for him, right? But the problem has now become that he doesn't want to use it because he wants to focus on that narrative of I'm a passer, I'm a quarterback, I'm not a running back, I'm a quarterback. I'm going to win this game by throwing it, which is fine in the regular season. But he had the least amount of rushing attempts he's had in his career. He averaged the least amount of rushing yards per game in his career. I'm sorry, I'm taking your stats here that we
No,
pulled.
you're good.
But there's a clear emphasis on by him and the Ravens of not wanting Lamar to run as much, which we saw collapse in the AFC Championship game, right? You went against a team that is fantastic at stopping the pass. The Chiefs, they're top in the league. They're, again, you went up against another historic defense that was able to shut down the the underachieving weapons that Lamar has and kind of took away a lot of easy throws or any kind of throws. And instead of Lamar attacking the rushing lanes, the run lanes that were kind of opening up, he tried to sit back and force something to happen. That's not what happens when you throw into triple coverage, right? He wasn't kind of like what Brock Purdy had to do in his NFC Championship game. Got to the second half, and he had that narrative to battle of, oh, is it the Avengers or is it Brock Purdy? And he got to the second half and said, fuck it, my Avengers aren't caring for me. I'm running for these first downs. I'm doing what I got to do to win this game. Lamar had the same situation, right? He had a narrative combat. I'm not a running quarterback. I'm not a running quarterback. I'm a quarterback, right? And in order to overcome that narrative, he had to run. He had to ignore the noise around him and just play to win the game. And he didn't. He got too wrapped up into it. He got too wrapped up into, I need to throw. I need to get these passes off. And it seemed to really cost him. And again, we are discussing a game in which one Zay Flowers fumble away from it being tied. Then who knows what happens then? But that was a winnable game. Lamar had to run, right? They dared him to run, and he didn't want to. He refused to. So I'll turn it back over to you, B, and let you get your points in with that too.
Yeah, I mean, bringing up the Zay Flowers fumble is a good point. That could have been a game changer. We could be talking about the Ravens Niners right now playing for the bowl, but we're not, right? And I don't want to be painted as like anti-Raven. That's not the point of this like segment. But I'm just trying to think through this, right? This is supposed to be the Chiefs' down year. Like the Ravens had a better team. Like we did a segment 6 weeks ago about the Chiefs' offense and how this wasn't the same. Like what's going on here? It's not the same team. What's going on with the offense? Are they going to fall in the playoffs? What's happening? This is supposed to be the Ravens' year, right? The Ravens' season to finally get over that hump, make it to the bowl and all that stuff. And they got beat at home. And again, like touch on like the Chiefs. Again, it's not just the Chiefs that are there, right? They have Josh Allen there. Oh, and hey, they have a guy in their own division who was hurt all year that went to AFC title game twice already. Joe Burrow's still there. The Bengals are still there.
Herbert and the Chargers now too, under Jim Harbaugh.
Herbert and the Chargers. There's some things with like the Dolphins, but they are still there. Like all the top talent is in that conference. So we're not saying that like the Ravens are a bad team and Lamar Jackson's bad. No, they are great. Yeah. But we're trying to look at the whole picture. It's like going to the AFC is so damn tough now. It's so hard. There's a weird disbalance or unbalance between the AFC and the NFC. There's so many, like, the talent in the AFC right now is crazy, dude. It's tough to get there. And the season that they had, right, being a top team all year long, and not like they were, what was a good example? The Cowboys falling to good teams. Dude, the Ravens were beating every good team. Like, every team, I think they had the record of, like, most wins against, like playoff teams or over 500 teams, something like that. They were winning ball games. And then a weird switch happened in that title game. It was a very, I don't know if it's like the pressure. I don't want to say choking, but like maybe something just got to them, to that offense, and they just weren't the same squad. But at the same point, like when we get to those moments, I already just hit on it. It's tough to get there. You have to go through a gauntlet of teams, of playoffs to get to that moment. You have to seize it. You have to win. And to that point, Lamar Jackson, if he was out there in his head about, I have to beat the Chiefs with my like arm, I can't run. Dude, at that point, you got to win the game. Who cares? Yeah. You could run for 200 yards, throw for 50. Win the game and get there, dude.
And just I want to really, because I know there's people that are watching this and commenting and typing this, right? Well, he just ran for 100 yards against Houston. You're right. a game people really weren't watching. I mean, Ravens fans, I'm sure, were, Texans fans were watching, but it didn't have a whole lot of national attention. There was always like a predetermined notion the Ravens are going to win and move on. This is a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach going against the best defense in the MVP. People kind of had their assumptions that this game was going to go well and didn't really watch it too well. And even at that game, it was tied 10-10 at halftime. I will include there. And it took Lamar Jackson taking it over with his legs to lead to a dominant win. And this isn't the only example. Going back to Christmas Day, San Francisco versus the Ravens, the game that really made Lamar Jackson the MVP favorite again, right? It wasn't going well passing, right? There really wasn't guys getting open against San Francisco. The game started getting out of hand, not only with the turnovers, and that's a whole different conversation. The game really started getting out of hand for San Francisco. The game really started looking well for the Ravens when Lamar started running again. It was even noted, I think it was Fred Warner or Nick Bosa made the comment after the game of, he kind of tricked us. This whole season, he hasn't been attacking the rush lanes. He's wanted to stay in the pocket. And then against us, he felt he needed to escape. He started attacking those run lanes again and making us have to like change how we were rushing the passer. Something we weren't expecting because he's been staying in the pocket all season. So it's not just us making these inferences. It was a matter of two different situations we're looking at and players noticing when he needed to take over and run, he did until it was on the biggest stage with everyone watching in the AFC Championship game. It seems like he let the narrative kind of consume him. He didn't want to be the guy that, won it by running. Seems to be what kind of happened with that.
Right. And dude, this run. We're not one of those people that say those BS things all year as running back. Dude, just win the game. Win the game. No one's gonna be saying shit when you win that like ring. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't care. Again, I don't care if you run for 200, throw for 50. Win the game. Who cares?
At that point, At that point, it's just about winning. It's all at the end of the day, you have a game next week and the other team doesn't. Whoever's got whatever to say in the media, it doesn't matter. Like you just got to come away at that win. And I think it's just so disappointing and so frustrating to see because even like again a couple of teams that we forgot to mention that are up and coming. You have Houston, who's going to be back. CJ Stroud is going to be a second year. D'Amico Ryan is going to be a second year. Bobby Slovic is coming back. Tank Dell's coming back. You have the Jets who are getting Aaron Rodgers back. Who knows what he looks like, but it's still Aaron Rodgers, and they have a decent team there in New York. So this really felt like it was their best year to do it, and it really does kind of feel like he's one of those guys that gets sucked into the narratives around him a little too much. So you guys let us know in the comment section. Again, this is not an anti-Ravens video. We really appreciate watching the Ravens this year. If you go back and watch any of our game picks, we learned early on you don't pick against the Ravens. We even picked them to win the conference championship game. So we love Lamar. He's a fantastic player. So guys, head down to the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts. Do you think the media narrative is getting to Lamar? Do you think he needs to tune out the noise and just win like he's been winning? While you're done, then give us a like and subscribe. We do these videos every week. We love talking with you guys. We love hearing from you. With that, I think that's going to wrap up another episode for us. You guys can find us on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, it's been Emmett. It's been B. Bye, guys.
See y'all.
There we go.